small business owners. We know how the economy, I'm one myself, I know how the economy's dropped, things is tight. You'll probably think about laying some people off, or you already laid some people off. Our business is just not there no more. So what do we do? Well, what you have to do is network and reach out to find organizations that can come in and help you. And today we're going to mention some way a program we have here at the Tribe Vocational Rehab up under the direction of Miss Celeste Hunt. Now we're going to talk about an ID that I think some of you small business owners will thoroughly enjoy. And I want you, after this program, I want you to give a call and find out some more information about it. Now, Miss Celeste, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and you?
I still want to thank you for doing a wonderful job with vocational rehab. And vocational rehab is a program set up to help our handicapped.
Yes, work with our individuals with disabilities.
And the main thrust of it, how can we help our handicaps get back into the workplace? Well, that just goes along beautifully if I'm a small business owner and a large business owner too. Tell you what, now, Celeste, let me ask you this: if I'm a business owner, how can you help me with my business as far as employees?
Right now we have a service which is called on-the-job training, and we can work with employers in reference to putting people to work. It could be part-time, full-time, etc. And our goal is to work together in collaboration with the employee for that person to learn that they could obtain the training that they need and to be able to carry out their job duties. And what we would do is we would be willing to pay half that person's hourly pay for up to 3 months so that the individual can gain the knowledge of the job and do well and carry out their job duties again. And once that time period is over, then if they have successfully done well, then that employer can hire them and they will pick up the part-time or full-time job and pick up the full hourly wages.
Okay, now let me ask you this. First thing pops in my mind is business owner. Well, if I decide to participate in, you send me someone to train, and you're going to pay half the salary. Will I have to pay that back?
No, sir, you would not.
So this is a free. So if I'm paying them $400 a week, you pay $200, or how does that work?
If the employer would pay the individual $400 a week, then we would end up doing the on-the-job training funds at $200 per week. And then our goal is at the end of the training process for that individual to become successfully employed with that employer.
Okay, because I reckon my next question is this: when we think of handicap, the first thing we think about is someone, bless their hearts, in a wheelchair. But this is not totally correct, right?
No, sir. Our goal and what we do at the Lumbee Tribal VR program is to work with our tribal members with disabilities. It could be physical or mental. Examples of disabilities could be individual that was injured in a car accident and had some type of head trauma. It could be learning disabilities, for example, attention deficit disorder or learning LD. All other types of disabilities could be individuals that have injured their back while working on a construction type job, and they have a chronic back injury, etc.
Yeah.
And once we review medical records in reference to that, that person would be eligible due to what type of chronic condition they are having. These type jobs, what we do, no, the individual does not have to be in a wheelchair. The individual can have disabilities range from large to small, but our main goal is to work with these individuals that has these disabilities in getting successful employment. And a lot of people think about disabilities as being individuals that have MR or are in wheelchairs, but again, it may be a person that cannot stand for long periods of time. It may be a person that cannot do up to 10 to 15 pounds of lifting. It may be a person that cannot talk to the public will
Right.
that may need to work on one-on-one. It just depends. Disabilities can come in all sorts of sizes and all conditions. It just depends on that particular person.
Okay, now let's flip this around now. If I'm a handicapped person watching this program, I said, well, I'm interested in that. I want to go back to work. And I've got a friend who said, well, I'd like to employ you, but I just don't have the funds. What they need to do is call you and see if they qualify for your program.
Yes, sir. They would need to call, and we'd be glad to schedule a time to meet with them. If they are eligible, if we think that they may be eligible and they do have a disability, and it may be a situation where they are ready to go back to work, we would be glad to do an application, get their medical documentation, review it, determine their eligibility, and then look at successful employment.
Because what's going on here is just because a person has a handicap, it doesn't mean they cannot continue to contribute to society. And let's look at it on a selfish reason. If a person's got a handicap and they can have employment, that takes them off the tax burden, right?
Yes, sir.
That's another way to look at it. That's a selfish way, but that's another way we look at it. But at the end of the day, what Miss Celeste is trying to do is to help our handicapped people with their self-esteem, to make sure they understand we still love them and they still got a role to play in the community. And the best way to build a person's self-esteem is through employment.
You're exactly right.
That might sound dumb, it is.
You may have an individual that's home on a day-to-day basis, and they can start developing depression because they just want to get out of the house, they want to go to work, they want to build their self-esteem and give something back to society. It's amazing the individuals that can go back to work. If it's not but 2 or 3 hours a day, 2 to 3 days a week, they're able to get up and go to work, and it makes a dramatic difference in their life. They're so excited.
And for the business owner, by them reaching out, showing that kind of love to help a handicapped person become employed, that really sends a message out to the community what type of employer they are. That's a good PR.
You're exactly right.
So what we'd like for you to do, especially employers, if you're interested in this program, we can pay half the salary for 3 months. That's a lot of money, and that's a blessing. And maybe at the end of let me ask you this question: at the end of 3 months, it just doesn't work out. What happens then?
What we do is we have an on-the-job training checklist where we come in and we monitor it could be a 2-week basis, depending on what the need would require for that individual. And if it gets up to a point where they've worked for 1 month and things does not seem to be working out well, then we will discontinue the employment and then look for other employment for that in another setting. So and if things continue to go well and we continue to meet with the supervisors and see that they are doing well and are looking towards successful employment, then we will continue. And then once they complete that employment training, then the goal is for them to be employed with them.
Okay, so it's just not like you send somebody to an employer and you walk away. You're still there to lend a helping hand.
Exactly.
Okay, now, if you're a business person, really give this a lot of thought, and if you're a handicap, make sure you contact Miss Celeste and I want you to give that phone number and how to get to your office, because she's kind of separated across town from us, to make sure you take advantage of this vocational rehab program. It's one of the better programs that we have.
Our office is located next to Health Keepers in the old Piggly Wiggly Shopping Center. You can reach us at 910-521-4220. And we have a 1-800 number. It's 1-866 Lumbee VR.
I hadn't heard that. 1-866 Lumbee VR. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this portion because this ties into what we've been doing with RCC. So trying to get our people to go back and take that test and get some employment going on here. I know it's hard to find, so you've got to do everything you can to take advantage of your skills. And if you're a handicapped person, make sure you contact Miss Celeste Hunt at our vocational rehab program. If there's any way to help you, maybe you're not able to have a job, but there's something maybe she can help you to make your life a little bit better. Right, baby?
That's totally.
Okay. So I hope you enjoyed today's program, and we'll see you next week from the Chairman's Desk.